How is it that two people who laugh together, love together, sometimes end up all alone? Tell me, how is it? How is it that two people play together, wanna die together sometimes? Whoa, isn't it a shame? Yeah. Sometimes such a love, it will never be. Isn't it a shame? You have to laugh. Isn't it a shame that such a love can't last? Oh, isn't it a shame? Hey, YouTube. I'm so sorry. First of all, let me apologize to those of y'all who think I talk about the FYE monster too much. I apologize. But here I am. Two videos in one day. Y'all should have let me know. Y'all should have told me about this latest scuttlebutt. Because I would never look at anything produced by that QB monster because he burned my goddamn book. And I'm not over it. But as soon as I got off my last live, I started hearing these whispers. Oh my goodness. Trouble in paradise? Hold the hell on, honey. Hey, Princess A. Oli. Bowles. Steph. How y'all doing? Marsha Cleveland and RNY TV. RNY TV. Okay, it's creative. Hi, y'all. Hi, everybody. I apologize to you people think I'm talking about her too much, but I couldn't resist. Because it was a couple of months ago, I was telling y'all that when the FYE monster and the QB monster fell out, it was going to be epic. Epic. Why? Because the ones that are closest to you always hurt, the ones you love, the ones who are closest to you, those are the people who have the most information on you. They know you better than anybody else, and they're holding your secrets, right? So they have all this ammunition. So what I'm experiencing now is apparently there's a little chink in the armor. We ain't quite there yet. We're not quite there with all the name calling and all that, but that's coming, right? Whether it comes in this beef or the next one, it's coming, and it's going to be epic. It's still my prediction. So here's the situation we have. When FYE Monster did this stupid ass interview of hers a couple of days ago, and she brought Butter on, as if Butter was somebody to be interviewed about the sexual lives of homosexual people. And Butter came on talking about you're not born gay, and like he is got a PhD in sexuality or something. I didn't even want to address that. That's just foolish. Why is she bringing some straight dude on here to tell gay people about how they're gay? As if they're not the ones who experienced it, but he knows all the answers. It was ridiculous, right? I'm not on here to ride on Butter. I think Butter probably is a decent guy, but he's not an Einstein. Let's put it like that, right? So I don't know why she feel like he's qualified to come on here talking about somebody else's sexuality. Of all the billions of subjects to talk about with your own brother, why are you going to talk about the sexuality of somebody else? I do not know. Particularly when she already knows probably what his views are. But everything's for clicks and views. So I was not interested in that story. It wasn't worthy. Butter is not a celebrity. Why is she bringing him on there to discuss that of all things? But apparently somebody did watch it. And for the first time, we see that perhaps this Q monster might have some little small balls, because so far he's been presenting as a person who don't have any nuts at all. He's just a follower and behind her, right? little small trinkets, little balls. Maybe he got some balls because he was able to stand up to this woman and say, what's it here? You had that man on there. You know what his views are. Who is he to speak on my sexuality and the sexuality of people who ride with you? In other words, he was hurt because she did not defend LGBTQ, because he is the LGBTQ and he considers himself to be her best friend, to her capacity to have a best friend, right? He probably took offense at her over there laughing at his jokes. Look at this idiot. They need to outlaw boom boxes. You see how the devil's always working? He don't want me to tell you this truth. Excuse me, baby. Where you at? Okay. Idiot. Anyway, what was I talking about? Hey, people. How y'all doing? Hi, Raymond Davis. And Kendra Bennett. Y'all forgive me coming back on the same story twice. But don't know what the hell he's talking about, right? But his views are pretty typical. People don't know what the hell he's talking about. How you going to tell somebody else about what they experienced, their life? Then he has the nerve to say, and I didn't watch that ridiculous thing. I mean, I saw a little bit just for the purposes of this commentary. I had to listen to a little bit of it. But he's talking about how people, you don't know your sexuality yourself. You don't know you're born that way. Don't stop saying you're born that way. Then the next minute he's saying, oh, you know from 2 years old your sexuality. What the fuck? How does a 2-year-old know anything about sex? Are they even out of diapers? Anyway, so butter don't make no damn sense. Why has she got him over there? And why can't she come up with something else to talk about something that perhaps that he knows something about? Maybe we should talk about larceny. Maybe we should talk about identity theft. I mean, there's so many things you can talk about, honey. But you want to choose to talk about sexuality. Remember, you brought butter on before because you thought like the homosexuals were giving you a hard time. So you thought he was going to come over there and call them all faggots and things, right? And they were going to be devastated. Oh, he said the F word. You thought they were going to be devastated. Instead, he saw that it wasn't the right place for him, and he moved the hell on. So kudos to you, butter. Anyway, so I've already said it would be epic if they fell out. QB, he made his little video, which that's difficult to go to because it's probably 20 minutes of just bullshit noises and stuff. And then he finally gets to the point. He was hurt because he saw what he considered to be his best friend over there, laughing and giggling and encouraging this man. I won't say buffoon. I'm just going to say this man talking about who he is and describing what he is, and as if he knows more about what he is than QB does. He was finally offended. She finally got to somewhere where she could offend him. So we don't know what's going to happen, right? He made his little video. He made some disparaging remarks. All of his whole chat was telling him, no, QB is wrong. Oh, the FYE didn't mean any harm. Oh, girl, they all checked him. I mean, maybe he got 30 views on all of them negative, defending the FYE monster. Because the FYE monster in the video, in the interview, she appeared to be talking more sensible than butter, which is not saying all that much. I mean, I'm not trying to be insulting, but I mean, that's it's not a very, very high bar, right? But he thought he thought that she could have corrected him more. He felt like she has been around the LGBTQ long enough by now to know how to check her brother. It ain't got to be hostile towards him, but to check him. But the whole idea that they even having this conversation as if his opinion means something, it has some value. How you gonna have value about somebody else's life, girl? It's like me trying to explain to you the relationship between a man and a woman. I don't know a goddamn thing about it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's like to become erect because I saw some titties. I could not describe that to you, right? that he feels like he has all the answers. And then they try to go into some biblical stuff. You know, they know surface kind of a couple of scriptures here, a couple of scriptures there. They all know about homosexuals. You know, that's what they talk about. Anyway, so now there's a chink in the armor. So this, I guess this happened, it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. 1 to 2 days ago, he made this video, and I haven't seen anything made since then. From her, she made this long video today where she collected over $1,000, talking, basically saying nothing. All she would say was, thank you, oh, thank you, oh, thank you, oh, thank you, we showing them. Girl, when she got all the money, took it home with her. She didn't say anything about this QB situation. But what I'm saying, this ain't gonna be long live. What I'm saying is this. There are so many questions to ask the QB monster if they have really fallen out. See, the QB monster, we can almost half expect him to come up in the next 3 or 4 hours with some apology. Oh, it was just the drugs I was on for my tooth. Oh, I'm so sorry. I love FYE Monster. All that bullshit, right? That's usually the way he does it. Stir up a little smoke, and then he come back and apologize. Backpedaling and pussy popping, they call it. That's what he usually does. So we're gonna have to see. If he don't come back and apologize, they let it set a couple of days, things will start simmering, and he'll start remembering little things, right? Little homophobic things she has said, because she came on here basically as a homophobe. They get sensitive about the word homophobe, but basically someone who believes that homosexuality is a threat to humanity in some ways. There are many, many more hints of that when she first came. Now she has grown, and maybe it's some of the reason is because of him. She has grown substantially from that in her understanding, because on here she's been encountering so many gay people. So her understanding, I'm sure, is a lot different than it was when she first started on YouTube. His hasn't, because he ain't been on YouTube talking to queens all day, right? Anyway. That boy has got so much information. Like, I would like to ask you questions like this, QB Monster. I don't like you know that. But I would still like to ask you a few questions, if you can make it clear. Depends on how angry you are with her, or how disappointed you are with her, if you decide to answer the question. First thing I would ask you is she a drug addict? Because of all the people in Chicago, you would know her current situation. Because if she gonna get high with anybody, it will be with you. And we all can see that you are indeed a drug addict. Now, does she smoke crack? Does she snort? Are pills involved? What's the real story behind her husband or the man who impregnated her? What is their real story? Do you know the real story? Right? Explain to us some of the scams or some of the ways he's gotten money out of people. Can you do that for us? You see, he has all this information. So if he don't apologize, she may take it upon herself to say, you know what? I need to clean this up, because this boy is like a stick of dynamite out there. As far as my personal life, he knows everything. There have been times when we have been high together, and he has confessed things to me, and I have confessed things to him. So he knows a whole lot of shit. So maybe it wouldn't be the best thing for me to be out here arguing with the QB monster, right? We have to see. It's only been a day. We got to see who's going to kiss ass first. She's got a reason to kiss his ass because he has too much information on her. He has reason to kiss her ass because that is his content. That's the only YouTube friend he got, really. Right? And his only, perhaps his only friend in Chicago. That's who he hangs out with, right? That's where he gets his free drugs from, right? That's how he gets people shouting out his name. That's his YouTube compadre, right? So we have to see what's going to happen here. But I said, if they really fall out, if she comes out talking shit, responding in a negative way, he could blow her out the water. We know there's a lot about you, FYE Monster, and we've seen him screaming and hollering about the bag all over your front of your children and all this kind of shit. All we've seen of QB is him high. Ain't no way in the world somebody's high all the time It's going to be hanging around with somebody who does not do drugs. It ain't going to happen. Hi, people. Hi, Primo Wanda. Behind the throne made a good point. She always does. Let me see where she at. Behind the throne always calls it out. Why is she depending on this sector for clicks and views if she holds gays in disdain? You said it already. Clicks and views. Clicks and views, honey. This section of YouTube, and not only this section, but a big part of YouTube, the gays and the women, I mean, they connect. Look at the chat. Almost all women. And a disproportionate number of the commentators are gay men. And there are gay, men who have subscribers as well. So if she was going to be over here, she would almost have to take that stance. She couldn't be over here and be a homophobe. I mean, she couldn't come on here and carry on like Nicole Tyler used to. You see all the trouble that got her in with her views. How you gonna have views that are so negative about HLL? Oh God, all these letters. LGBTQIR, whatever. Anyway, she does it for clicks and views. And what happens is, like many times, a lot of racist people, you talk to a lot of racist people, and they're so racist because they don't know any black people, right? So when they go to school, and the school is mixed, that's the whole idea behind busing. They get to know some black people, and they say, that's my friend. I like her. Don't be mean to her. And they get to know each other, right? So this is the same thing that happens on here. You get to know more gay people. I get to know more women. I've never known as many women in my life, right? When I came out gay, I was just gay. Everything gay, all the way gay, right? But partially because of here and partially because of my relationship with my church, I started encountering more women, even though I was raised in a house with nothing but women, But anyway, what I'm saying is this. We have to see who is going to kiss ass first. You guys have any idea which one's going to have to come out? Somebody's going to get some boo-boo on their nose, honey, because this can't be, right? Let me see what you guys have to say about it. Thank you, Dankia Jed. Thank you, honey. I appreciate you. And you too, Tara Ja. Bless you. Oh, look at that. It looked like me in my rolling chair. I'm not a hippopotamus, though. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate you. And thank you, whoever gave me Cash App today. I don't know the name offhand, but I received that, and I thank you for it. Coming in real handy this month. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me see. You guys have any opinion of this? I was not aware of it. I mean, I went through my whole video and nobody said anything about them carrying on. I've been waiting for this. They're gonna fall out. You can believe that shit, honey. Much as they do drugs and shit, and he just went all off on the girl. I think he was more hurt than mad, but he was angry too. And he was actually suggesting that this woman would cut ties with her brother because of his views on homosexuality. It ain't gonna happen. You can stop any straight man and listen to his ideas if you want to. At this point, I mean, it doesn't make any difference to me what they think. That's stupid. How you gonna ask straight people about what it's like to be gay? And brother gonna come on with all these definitive answers to his. What is he, a PhD in sexuality? Stupid. It's dumb. You couldn't think of nothing else to talk about? Why don't you talk about the relationship between a man and a woman? Right? He's straight. You say you straight. We still don't know what the fuck it kills me when these people can't just say what the hell they are. It just makes it easier for conversation. But I guess she says she's straight. She's straight with possibilities. So if you're straight, people, talk about being straight. There's so much to talk about. Wait a minute, the music man went away now. I can open the window. Man, I love it when that now that the weather has changed. It's not dark. I mean, usually last month it was dark at 6:30, right? 6 o'clock sometimes. Now it's going on till about 8 o'clock. That's great. I love that. Anyway, hey, Unc. Hi, Erica. Spot forward. I get to see you. Close to that. Well, it's good to see you too. Your little picture. Uh-huh. Hey, Raymond Davis. What do y'all think? Do y'all think they're gonna fall out for real, or is it just gonna be a little argument among friends? He seemed pretty. If he thinking that that girl's gonna choose him over her blood brother, he's crazy. Child, if you interview Daddy, if you interview Daddy away from you, honey, rest with the boys, you wouldn't get anything that much different. How the hell are they gonna explain gay? They don't understand shit. I've been doing it for 62 years. I still don't understand the origins of life, the origins of gay, and all this kind of stuff. Y'all get to reading that book. Y'all think y'all know all the answers. I got it all figured out, honey. Mm-hmm. No, I didn't go past 6th grade. I don't need to. I already know everything. But he did answer one question for me. I thought the girl was part Chinese. I didn't want to say the word Chinese because like, you people are always accusing you. Oh, that's racist. Oh, you can't say that word. You can't say goddamn. They don't even know what to say. I said, well, maybe she was insecure of her parentage. And maybe she's part Chinese or part Asian. But no, I saw Butter, and Butter looks just like her. Butter looks like a big masculine version of the FYE monster. So they both have eyes like that. So I guess he debunked that theory. We're back today and talking about the same. I can't believe I'm talking about the same damn subject. That same ridiculous woman. Just your page. You can talk about whatever you want. Okay, thank you, Deanna Irving. Thank you, darling. Good to see you. The Miss TR, she likes my singing. Miss TR, some of them hate it. Well, we don't care. We won't torture them with more than one verse, though. Hi, okay. The Dankaya, Danakaya, Jed. Hi, Uncle Tim. I was binge watching your video. Oh, that's cute. You are so inspired, and I love all the knowledge you have. Oh, that's so encouraging. I hope to be inspiring you are. Let me say, I hope to be as inspiring as you are. That's so sweet. Thank you for the encouragement, honey. I appreciate you. She brought on a straight dude. What the hell does he know about gay? He just act like he just knows. No. Nobody's born gay. You can't say that. And then next thing he's saying, oh, you know, you're from an early age. And then, oh, you choose to wear dresses. And you choose. I think he's confusing transsexualism with homosexuality. And they're different things, you know. Identity. I don't know what Butter's been up to in his life. He seems to be like he's not, this is all not new to him. Perhaps when he was in prison. I'm just saying. I know how the prison game works. You know, all the girls, they have men just like Butter. Now they don't have no gay boys and no drag queens. They have men just like Butter. So maybe he feels like he has more knowledge than the average guy. Baby, please be quiet. Please have mercy and loving kindness. Thank you. I forgot who I saw talking shit about you, Deanna Irving. I know some people don't want to hear about when they're talking shit because they're always talking shit somewhere, right? Who was it? Made a whole damn video about you. I forget. I won't tell you. I know, honey, sometimes it gets to be too much trying to trace down all these reads. Uh-oh. Crazy motherfucker. Baby, between the crazy people and you. Be quiet. Can y'all hear that? Baby, come on now. Stop. Y'all know how dogs, they react to people who are crazy? Like if you're walking your dog and somebody's got mental problems, approaches you, they usually go off. I mean, there are several things that make them go off, but that is one of the primary things. They call themselves protecting you. Baby, please hush. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Deanna Irvin, we can't keep up with all the ones talking shit. And plus, I know we don't want to be manipulated by these people because they only talk shit about people so that you can make a video about them and bring them into the conversation, right? So you have to pick and choose who you want to be bothered with. How do I know he's straight though? He ain't gonna come home and tell his sister that he had a girlfriend in prison, right? People always talking about trade. Who do you think trade is? I mean, trade are people who present as heterosexual people. Sexuality can be fluid with a lot of people, honey, and there's a such thing as bisexuality. Now, Butter said that all men struggle with their sexuality. I don't know that that's true. He might be speaking from his own experience, right? I believe that people become curious. They have to figure out what that little ding ding is, kind of thing. So kids may play with themselves among their friends, so they figure the fucking shit out, But I don't think that's necessarily sexuality. I would call that more curiosity and exploring. But he's under the impression that now you choose to be gay. So you can be drawn to breast, vagina, legs, thighs, lips, woman inside. You can be drawn to all that, and you can just change your mind and say, no, I want to be gay. So you just go and kiss a man in his mouth? Kind of shit. That don't make no damn sense. So I didn't think that argument was worth having with Butter. Bless Butter. Talk about what you know about. This is what pissed off this boy, the QB monster. Right? So we shall see. Yes, I'll be right there, honey. I'll be right there when they do fall. It's going to fall apart, We already see how easily things can change, right? But he is so upset about Butter's. I don't know what he expect anything. I mean, Butter, let's face it. He I don't know Butter's all that bright, really. She drags him on here, using him as a prop. But he's mad at her for his responses. Baby, you want to go in the dungeon? Be quiet. The weather's changing, all the nuts are coming out. Dogs going crazy. Excuse me for a minute. Oh, now what's going to happen? What's going to happen now? Get your bum over here. Come on. Get your bum over here. Okay. Diddy. I had to banish the child to the dungeon. By the time he gets through eating the doggy treats, he won't even realize he's been locked up. It seemed like FB, bye babe, could never be alone. She seems so codependent. Well, that's the only person she could hang on to was this QB monster. She just drug him around like it was her purse, right? She was his and he was hers. But as I said, the boy is dangerous. He don't even realize it. Concerning her, he's dangerous. He's been around her too much. The same thing would happen with the other girl. Debbie did his mother. What's her name? I forget. I get brain farts anyway. So those two, Debbie did and then her mother. They were around her all the time. They knew things about her. When they fell out, first thing come out of her mouth, drug addict. We didn't know anything about the bayang before that. I didn't know a damn thing about the bayang. But when she brought it to my attention, I started piecing things together. So the same thing. This boy is high all the time. Now, how's the person who's high all the time going to hang around with a person who doesn't do drugs? I want to know, is that girl a crackhead? I would like to know. I think it'd be very interesting. So he's loaded with that kind of information. So it may very well be that she'll come up with the apology first. She's going to come in and apologize for her brother. Right? And she got to do it quickly. Move quickly, girl. You don't want him to get angry with you because you're ignoring him and start spilling tea because he has so much tea. These are dangerous beefs when a person has been around you a lot. He's been around you, he's been all up in your house, he's been with your daughter, he's been with your family, he knows all about you. Right? And Fire Monster, I think there's a whole lot. There's so much there, honey. Mm-hmm. Let me see who else going on here. How y'all doing today? Super sticker, yeah, that one is cute. In his hot rod chair. I'm so proud of myself. I fixed my chair. Remember, it fell apart. It fell, the damn thing broke, and I was waiting. And I finally took it upon myself to reinforce it. And actually, I have to thank you guys in the chat because it never occurred to me that I could just fix the chair myself and use different products. I did it myself, but it became because somebody said, you can reinforce a chair when you get to be on the chunky side. These things are made for little butts, but all you talking James Caldwell now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did I thank you, Dana K? I think so. I appreciate you. Mm-hmm. FYE is trash. She meant everything she said, and her brother with her brother. She knew what he was gonna say. They brought it up in the same house. She ain't new to this. She went over there and had sick butter on me and James Caldwell one time. And he supposed to come over there and check us. Like we gonna check us through the screen. Oh my God, honey. We don't need to hear the opinion of straight men. There's some straight guys, there's some great guys. I've had some good straight friends in my lifetime, who don't give a damn about that. They don't. If you are secure in yourself, you just don't care about other people's sexuality. Is my opinion. Now, some people, for whatever reasons, they do become homophobic. They believe that there's a gay agenda. They believe that you're going to influence people and they'll be gay. They believe you go to jail, you get turned out, and now you sell an asshole for the rest of your life. So somebody put a penis in you, and then all of a sudden you're gay. No, that's not how you become gay, honey. You're gay because you're just gay. That's it. Part of creation. Worked into nature. You don't know you gay. He said, you don't know, nobody knows shit. You don't know that you were born heterosexual either, do you? I mean, how you gonna know that if you're not born? It's a stupid argument. It's crazy. But who is she bringing him on here to discuss it even? We don't care about the straight. This section. I mean, I know I'm not gonna leave people out, but it's primarily gay men and women, black women usually, but there are other women here as well. But that's generally the relationship between gay men and women is totally different than the relationship between straight women and straight men. It's a totally different conversation. So to try to get them to explain us doesn't make any goddamn sense. What do you know about it? You don't know nothing. You can't explain another man's urges. Yeah, it's a decision. What kind of decision is that? Well, you just decide you want to suck dick one day? The fuck is that? Anyway. She probably kissing QB's ass. I don't know why he didn't just call her up. He could have called her up and had a conversation. That's what all the people in his chat seem to, or his comments seem to think. They all said, why did you do this? Oh, this is horrible. I guess they're her ass kissers. They done found out and went over there. He didn't have much of a following. His following is her following. So he's also dependent on her for that. But it'll fall apart. How long does any of this shit last? all these tube ships. I don't get real close to people. Sometimes, people, they say things you don't like, but you like them as content creators, right? But so you just keep them as content creators. You don't get real close, because when you get close, that's when the arguments start, right? That's when the problems start, and that's when people start beefing. I don't want to lose your. This is my entertainment. I depend on this to look at something. You don't want to get to where you can't look at nobody. But as long as I'm not all up in your business and all up in your life, then I can still enjoy you as a content creator. You make me laugh, so I'm watching you. I guess because they're both in Chicago. So I don't know the answer to that one behind the throne. She is something else. She does seem to hold the motherfucker's interest, though. When y'all see that money dropping today, I mean, they were just dropping hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Some people say that that's all a scam. That nobody could. Why would all of them be dropping $99.99? So maybe they're just recycling the money. Then somebody else said, well, maybe they have to give up 30% every time they do that. So perhaps they are legit. Whatever. She addressed that today to call it out. Whatever. I just love you guys. What did she say? They're so. Make you want to give her all your money. I don't understand. But the point is, if she raised $1,000 in the super chat today, the primary money she gets is from Cash App. If they have not closed her account down totally, or some other app, we don't see the whole picture, because she's also getting money from the Cash App or the other thing, PayPal. That's what she encourages them to give her, because she don't have to pay anything for that, right? So we don't know. We just know that this, for some reason or other, she keeps drawing that kind of attention to herself. So yeah, you're gonna bring the smoke, girl. You're getting paid enough for it. Fentanyl? Who the hell's you think she's on fentanyl? Oh my gosh, you better be careful. That fentanyl is a killer, honey. Mm-hmm. I bet she was, in that buying period, she was doing crack. But he knows. Too much going on in these streets. My head's going to explode. I understand. Who can keep up with it all, honey? Monster in the title of your book. Well, my first book, Elaine, was Meth Monster. That's where all the monsters come from. But I've been calling people monsters for forever. So I used monster in the first one. I don't know. There's a book called Meth Monster. That's my memoir. It's a fascinating read. About dope and letting it go, about deliverance. Really, Meth Monster is not even really about drugs so much. It's about getting off drugs. Because the primary part of the book, people tell me when they read it is, oh, it's too religious. Oh, it's too spiritual. I said, well, girl, that's what it is, honey. If anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever, oh, he'll be there. The Christ, the conversion. I couldn't write a book about me without including that part. That's what saved my life. That's the whole point of the story. They never talk about that, though. They go on and on and on about them few verses, honey. Oh, you was a dumpster diver. You dumpster dive. Yeah, I did a little bit of that. All you gotta do is look at their houses. You see they dumpster dive too. Surely you don't believe that shit that's at QB's room is bought somewhere. People. He fucked up with me when he would have made 9 videos about my book, Meth Monster, and then burned my book up. Although I can tell he enjoyed the book. The book is rich. But what does that say? You gonna burn my book up. He did that for her. What happened? Nothing. Five Monster and QB done fell out. We can't say fully fell out yet, because he has just went off on her about her brother and her not standing up for him or this community. He felt like she failed him because she was laughing, enjoying his views. Yes, Danica, she did show her arms today. She showed no tracks. Why does she have to prove this? Do you girls, you ladies, let me ask you these questions. Do any of you ladies have to get on the camera and say, look, I don't got no tracks? Who does that? Who does that except for junkies? I mean, why would you even think of that, girl? So what, you not shooting up heroin? What the hell I mean, why do you feel like it's necessary? Anyway, she didn't show her arm. She didn't mention nothing about QB in that thing, though. Right. Let me see. It makes serious money. Ex-scrapers. It makes serious money when he did. Don't look down on the dumpster dive. Oh, scrappers. Okay. I used to have a boss. There's something about drugs have different effects, right? So if you'll notice around your neighborhoods now, when you see these people going to dumpsters and dumpster diving for hours and hours and hours, and you go out to breakfast, and when you come back and then you go out to dinner and you see the same person in the same trash can, that is a side effect of crystal meth. It is specific to crystal meth. Dumpster divers and crystal meth. Now, there are people who do it without drugs. And in San Francisco, they used to have put out day where everybody would put out all the junk they want to get rid of, right? And then in the nice neighborhoods, which, I mean, most of it is all nice neighborhood, really, the tweakers would go through the stuff and make such a mess out of it that they stopped that. But you can still find decent stuff on people put out. I mean, you're not going to rent a truck to go all the way to the dump because you want to get rid of your old couch. You just put it out because you bought a new couch, right? So dumpster diving like that. But specifically, tweakers, those are people who use crystal meth, are prone to be dumpster divers. Just like crack monsters are prone to be paranoid. Who you see a window all covered up, only a little spot, they'll be peeking out of windows and crawling on the ground. There are various things that you do for specific drugs, right? If you see a heroin addict, like I saw one yesterday, you see a heroin addict, you'll see him leaning all the way to the ground, but not quite touching the ground, and he can stay that way for hours. This is for a heroin addict. They just nod out and their body, and then if you see them later on in life, sometimes their bodies are bent in that direction. They're bent over from leaning for so much. But that is a symptom of people who do heroin. If a person is always scratching at their crotch, that is a symptom, that is a side effect of using heroin, right? Each drug has certain things that you do. That's what I'm saying. One of the big side effects with crystal meth is this hypersexuality, right? That's why a lot of people get trapped up in it. Some drugs, you do it and it doesn't even occur to you, you want to have sex now. But that is a drug that you immediately want to have sex, right? That is a side effect of that particular drug. That's today's lesson. Mm-hmm. So when I told them about me being that's what they would like to harp on. Oh, you're a dumpster diver. You did dumpster. But maybe they don't understand it, but that's not unusual. Anybody who has done crystal meth or been hooked on crystal meth, they say, well, what's the big deal? We all dumpster dive. That's just part of it, right? So when I told my story, I wanted to tell the truth. I was not concerned about who's going to buy the book or who's going to be impressed by the book and all that kind of shit. I just told the truth of my experience in the drug life as best I could get it. That was a cold-blooded move. Yeah, indicates he sit up there and burned it. He burned somebody else's book too. So we don't expect all that much from the QB monster, right? He ain't gonna be no friend of mine. I see your capacity for disrespect. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that before, so I ain't loving on either one of them. And they're falling out, but bring me nothing but joy. But believe me, I will be covering it if it gets nasty. Because see, if somebody doesn't apologize pretty quick, it could very easily turn nasty because people will start saying things to you. Oh, she said this, girl. Ooh, Miss Thanks, you were reading you over there. Sometimes the things are exaggerated, whatever. And then one drops a little information, the other one, and then they'll pull out beef. Now that would bring some spice back to the beef sector, right? Some beefs are just bullshit, and some are real, honey. And when the good friends fall out, that's the real beef. Mm-hmm. 5 Bay shouldn't be judging anymore. No, she shouldn't. Okay, Priscilla, I'd like you to talk about your, okay. I'd like to talk about your experience and how you overcame the battle. Yeah, Priscilla, you can get a Meth Monster. I think you can download it for $5 or something like that on Amazon. I've written 5 books, but that's the only nonfiction about my struggle with drugs and getting off of drugs. It's primarily about getting off of drugs, right? But we had to go through the whole experience, and the gay and all, everything goes into a life. Okay, say the people after the cokeheads say people after them. Well, paranoia. That's what most of them. Some people get paranoid and just smoking weed, though. Why did they scratch their crotch? That's heroin. It's a side effect of heroin. All these drugs. I mean, even when you buy over-the-counter drugs, they'll tell you these are the possible side effects. I guess there's government makes you tell what the possible side. When you see commercials about drugs, I'm not talking about illicit drugs, but just regular drugs, and they'll have to tell you could cause suicidal thoughts or could cause. They have to tell you what the possible side effects. Drugs have side effects. That's one of the ones you can tell. If somebody is scratching their crotch all the time, mainly though, if they're nodding out or falling out, there are a lot of heroin addicts. You'll see them at a bus stop, and they'll be falling out. And the lady, she'll have her purse open, right? But if you touch the purse, she'll pop back up. Get off my purse, motherfucker. They're totally alert, but their body is stuck in that position, right? So it's a downer, extreme downer. And unfortunately, you can die from that. It was heartbreaking. When I met my partner, he had formerly been a heroin addict as a teenager. But when I met him, he was 29 years old. He hadn't done drugs in maybe 9 years, something like that. Towards the end of his life, when we broke up, I ended up going to crystal meth. I discovered it in the bars, and he went back to heroin. He hadn't done heroin in, at that point, like 13, 14 years. So we were together for 3 or 4. Anyway, when I saw him scratching his crotch and all that and leaning all over, it was so heartbreaking. I mean, it's so hard. You can do it yourself because it feels good to you. But to see somebody you love go through that, it's hard. Right. And as soon as I saw him grabbing himself, I knew what it was. And he'd been clean all those years. I consider it a blessing, though. He died of AIDS eventually, but at least he didn't die a drug addict. Eventually, he had to stop. He got too sick. So he didn't know this. He didn't know D. Elaine, I read Meth Monster. I suggested monster or monsters because you call these content creators monsters. They are monsters. There's 5 monsters and QB monsters. Bradley monsters. I took that word from the crackheads used to call each other crack monsters, right? Meth, with meth, a meth monster was like when you're high and you've been up for, say, a day or so or 2 days, the trees, they become like monsters, right? So it's a literal thing with meth users. The big trees, they look like monsters with branches and hands. You can imagine all kind of shit, basically because you haven't slept. But with crack people, they just always call each other crack monsters. So I said, okay, we'll just use both. The original name of the book was, the working title was Recovery by Faith. But I thought it sounded too boring. People wouldn't be interested. Xanax just controls anxiety and makes you sleepy. Okay. Yeah, they have different side effects, honey. Mm-hmm. Some of those psych meds, they make you fat. You eat more. My baby's barking. I got to show him loving kindness. 1 second, people. Okay, I hear you, ding dong dong. I hear you. Let me out of here, Daddy. Okay, get that bum out of here. Get that bum. Okay, I'm sorry. Daddy, why'd you lock me in the dungeon? All right. Let me see. Yeah, says say no to drugs, people. Just as long as you don't try it, you will never know if you would like it or not. Everyone is different. Oh, look at that crackhead. Crackhead Willie. Hi, Crackhead Willie. You look like Michael Jackson. Y'all look at Crackhead Willie's thumbnail. Lord have mercy. I still ate crack there. Here comes Willie. Here comes Willie. Okay. But you're not, maybe we do a disservice to people by calling them crackheads because you're only crackhead for when you're doing crack. That doesn't determine your whole life. I mean, when I was doing dope, I thought that I would die that way because that's who I was. I identified myself as a, meth addict. That was my role in life. It never occurred to me that I would stop doing it. Right. So now I've been clean for just about 20 years, 19 years. This has been a whole other. I was not a drug addict. That's not me. I was doing drugs, but it doesn't determine my rest of my life. In 12-step Alcoholics Anonymous, they'll make you say that for the rest of your life. I'm a drug addict, therefore I can't use drugs. It's all semantics because I don't do drugs. Therefore, I'm not a drug addict. I'm delivered. That's my language. But it's only a matter of what words you choose to use. Basically, we don't get high. All right. So whether you want to call it you're delivered, or whether you want to call it I'm a drug addict saved by grace on a daily basis, however you want to call it, honey, you just don't use. If I were to use meth, if I did a snort of meth, I'd be right back to doing it. And believe me, I've tried. So now, my old age, I know better. Greenie, you come back from the dungeon, you can't be barking, boy. You're going to go back in the dungeon. Daddy, don't ever do that to me. I don't like the dungeon. Ding dong ding. What do you think you're going to do? Ding dong ding. Okay, I'll bring you the love later. What is in meth that makes them hypersexual, child? You better leave that stuff alone, Charles Dodson. But at the same time, men on meth can't get it up. You don't need it up. Now they got this dangerous thing they do. They do meth and Viagra at the same time, so they can get it up. But some people can get it up. If you have tendencies to be a bottom, you're really gonna be a bottom. And it turns a lot of people into bottoms because all they do is lay there, right? But it's not like you have to be having sex to feel sexual. You're just sexual all the time. You walking down the street, look at the open-toed shoes, look at those toes, that kind of thing, right? So you spend a lot of time being sexual with yourself, with your TV, whatever. That's just that's the trap. That's the trap that that's why it's epidemic among gay people. And I imagine that it's not different with straight people. It started off with bikers. Bikers used to use it. Truck drivers would use a form of meth. And then eventually, when it caught on with the gays, see, I can only speak from the perspective of the gay experience because that's the only thing I knew, right? But it makes your sexuality fluid. So in other words, I rarely had to have sex with another gay guy because there were so many straight guys who were willing to give up the booty. I mean, I'm just trying to be graphic. I know it's graphic, but you do everything when you're high on drugs. That's the draw for so many people. That's how they get caught up and hooked. The devil, see, he's real. He romances you to draw you in. It's demonic though, honey, because you're only going to enjoy yourself for a few months. Eventually, you'll be homeless, you'll be dirty, and nobody gonna want you. That's what happens. So the young ones, they can still go from house to house getting high, but Eventually, it's just going to be about you getting more money to get more drugs. You'll stop taking care of yourself. You'll lose your apartment. You'll lose your car. Some of you will become dirty and smell. That's just part of it. You got to deal with it. For me, I don't know if you call it lucky or not, but I eventually end up selling. When I went to San Quentin, I was a street drug addict, right? But I had a partner who I always stayed with him. So I was technically homeless because it wasn't my apartment, but I always crashed there and so forth like that, right? When I got to San Francisco, I started selling drugs and it became a different situation. The different situation was no better because then I was in and out of prison. I went to prison 10 times in 10 years. That means every single year I was in prison, right? But when you get busted with drugs, if you're already on parole, they'll give you 1 year with halftime because it's not a violent crime. So you'll be locked up for 7 months. And I think I averaged it out one time. I was on the street about 3 months every year. So even though I considered myself a baller on the street, the actuality was I was only on the street 3-4 months a year. And most of that time was either running from the police or running from snitches, moving every few days because people tell on you. You know, it was not a good situation at all. But you don't know it's not a good situation because you're high. The dog name is Squeenie. Well, congratulations there, Crackhead Willie. You actually spelled it right on the first time. Those people don't get the spelling right. That's a cuter dog. Or is they all Squeenie? That's what I call my husband, Squeenie. My family support saved my life. Your family support? I didn't have any family support. I was out here by myself. I left home at 19 and I very rarely went back for the visit. But fortunately, my family never experienced my drug addiction. They experienced when I started going to prison because I would call them to help to send me zooms, whams, like that, right? So they thought it was over for me too. It took a while to build trust with them again. But I never asked them for stuff. I was never around my family when I got high. So no one in my family thus far has ever seen me high on anything. I have had relatives who they got high, but they stayed near home. So their family was able to go through the whole situation, the stealing, all the stuff that you go through because you're right there. Okay, I read your book. Okay, that saved you and the ones who didn't go to jail are dead. That's correct. They're dead. A lot of them died of AIDS. And a lot of people, I mean, I see them on the street. They're like almost like the Walking Dead. You know, they're still strung out, and they've become worse as they gotten older. I mean, to be on drugs in your 50s, come on, it's not a good thing. But some people make it out. When you go to 12-step meetings, those rooms are full. They have auditoriums full of people, and those are the same people that we're calling crackheads. You just got to live long enough to get old. You might get tired eventually, but you got to live that long. Unfortunately, prison saved a lot of us, honey. Okay, baby, calm down. Prison saved a lot of us because, like I said, I was only on the street 3 or 4 months a year. So if I were getting high the whole year, not eating, skinny, doing drugs every day, I'd be dead as the rest of them. A lot of people, they didn't have a lot of hustle, so they didn't go to prison. They might have did a few days in jail here and there, but prison was for drug dealers, not drug addicts. And now they have it where if you get busted with drugs, you go to drug programs. Now, if you're selling, like I was always selling, I was always guilty, right? You go to prison for that. But if you're just a user, you can go on for years and years just getting high every single day. And it tears you down. Eventually, you end up on the street like you'll see some of these people that is so sad. Yeah, a lot of them are dead, though. A lot of people gone, honey. And a lot of them, I don't even know if they're dead or in prison, but I don't see them on the street. But they're just like me. If you're a drug dealer, you spend most of your time in prison. And if you don't spend most of your time in prison, people start wondering why you are not getting busted like everybody else, right? You got to walk that line, honey. Who you been talking to? Mm-hmm. Good night, everyone. Good night. Behind the throne. Mm-hmm. Okay, we at a time. All right, you guys. Yeah, it was fun to have 2 lives in one day. But we have to wait and see, people. Y'all can start taking your bets now. Who is going to come back with the ass kissing video first? Hurry up, Fire Monster. You don't want them out there talking, honey. Yeah, she a crackhead. Oh, we bought drugs on 36th Street. Remember we were behind the dumpster? Girl, he knows way too much about you. Later, people.